Next I call you. Don't set me off. Are you ready?
I don't sign it.
At this time, I'd like to call to order on January 10th, 2022, the City of Shamokin Council meeting, and we begin with the pledge to the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Lady, will you do roll call?
Councilman Krasinski,
Here.
Councilman Rowe,
Here.
Councilwoman Ennis,
Here.
Councilwoman Boyer.
Here.
You're here, right?
Yes, sir.
Mayor Holder,
Here.
all present and accounted for.
Okay, at this time, we'd like to do some presentations. If, Rebecca, you'd like to come up from the AOA, and council, if you'd like to come with me.
Come up there.
Then you want to?
However you want.
You can go in here, Jim.
Okay.
Just be careful with the wire, so the liability insurance is good.
Would you like to?
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Change it.
Thank you. If you can-
Yeah, that's a mess.
Practice.
These items.
You want me to take a picture?
If you would, please.
On behalf of the AOA board, the mayor, council members, and administrators, we'd like to present you a check tonight for $5,000 for our continued support that the city has given us. And one of the founding things of the AOA is economic development in the region. And working together with allowing our riders coming into town, we've grown, and I think it's helped the city. We see a lot of businesses downtown benefiting from that, and we'd like to just continue that partnership with this new mayor and this new council. So we appreciate all working together and want to continue to do that.
We look forward to working with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. While we're standing, I'd ask. No.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, what you want? Okay. At this time, we have Officer Temple, our first female officer present with us. And she was sworn in rather quickly because we needed to get her on duty. But what we'd like to do, since council and everyone couldn't be there, we're gonna go ahead and do it again so everyone can be a part of this with her. So would you please come forward? You have to bear with this. It's right on the bookshelf. If you'll bear with us, my mistake, I forgot to bring the Bible.
Kind of want to see that, yeah. Take it down.
Yeah.
Nobody know any jokes.
Ray, are you gonna sing first?
Come on.
Yeah. You know, why, Mr. Cycle, please come up here.
Wait, it's.
Yeah.
Gee.
Yes.
You should be up here as well.
You really should be.
Yeah.
Great. All rise. So,
You weren't there for something like
Oh, I
that.
see. Can you place your hand on the Bible, please? I, Alexis Temple,
I, Alexis Temple,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey,
obey,
and defend the Constitution of the United States
and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of this Commonwealth,
of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties
and that I will discharge the duties
of police officer
of police officer
in the Shamokin Police Department,
in the Shamokin Police Department,
Shamokin, Pennsylvania, with fidelity.
Shamokin, Pennsylvania, with fidelity.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Your Bible. Your Bible. Maybe a little one up here.
Just get into the T's and stuff. Remember this.
Because
Oh.
they weren't there last time to do that,
Ready? Smile.
Jeez.
Are you guys good?
You guys got it in here.
I said strength. Someone said say strength. Sure did.
No.
Ready?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No, she's on the road since last month. Yeah, she should.
Well, we'll have to look.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Slavy, do we have any bids?
No, sir.
Okay, citizens' comment. It's contingent upon business listed on the agenda.
Jesse Storm with Brokers Realty, who practice real estate and property management here in Shamokin, Pennsylvania. We stand before you today to ask council members to vote no on a couple of boards and committee requests that are being done tonight. One of those being the request for the motion for reappointment for the Housing Authority. Part of the reason why Shamokin is where it is the Housing Authority hasn't pushed hard to get increases for rentals, rental amounts over the past several years. So based on their current numbers, you know, you're looking at $550 a month, and in some cases as low as $325 to maintain a home. That's repairing roofs, windows, doors, furnaces. It's just not a sufficient amount of money. And I think that if we have someone on the authority that will push harder to get increases, I know the way that's done is based on the overall average of rental amounts in a community, and then the state approves that. I think that there's sufficient evidence out there that rental amounts are not an average of $300 and $350 in Shamokin. And there's no way that they can consider that a fair amount for maintenance on a property. If we can get that number raised, and I think the way we do that is by having someone else on the board to fight for the city of Shamokin and the property owners here in Shamokin. The second thing that I'm asking for is for the council to support a no vote for the Shamokin Cole Township Sewer Authority reappointment. You know, the sewer authority here in Shamokin Cole Township charges the highest rate compared to any other city around here. You know, if you compare it to larger cities like Lancaster and Harrisburg and York, and compare it to smaller towns like Redline and Yo and a lot of the smaller towns that are equivalent in size of Shamokin, our prices are almost twice what other communities are paying for sewer. And then if a house is vacant, they're still charging you a sewer bill on something where there is no water going down that drain. So I would vote that I ask you guys to vote no for this reappointment and try and find someone who's going to fight hard for the homeowners and citizens of the city of Shamokin on the sewer authority to readjust pricing for the homeowners and residents in the city of Shamokin. And the last one that we're asking for the council to support a no vote for is the zoning board, and that being that Shamokin does not have sufficient zoning for businesses to come into the area. We cannot keep trying to jam new businesses that want new buildings and new infrastructure into old buildings in old areas. We need someone who is going to help look at the zoning and help to curb those zonings to allow us new infrastructure, new areas in the city that can be demoed and rebuilt in commercial, in the name of commercial, and bring more jobs and more businesses into the city of Shamokin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse.
Comment? The housing authority, to my knowledge, anyone who lives in public housing, it goes by 30% of your income. It's not on an average of basic city rentals to people who are not in public housing. That's it.
Okay. Can I respond? The amount that's assessed to an individual is based on a state number that is revisited every year by reallocation of what the average rental amounts are. So if you call housing and you ask them a housing voucher for a 3-bedroom house, how much is the maximum? They can tell you that exact number. It has nothing to do with the tenant. How much they're willing to pay on behalf of the tenant has everything to do with what their income is. But what that allotted number is, what that maximum is that they will pay, and see, with housing authorities across Pennsylvania, 95% of all housing authorities across Pennsylvania, from my experience, if a tenant wants to rent a $600 house, and the housing authority says, no, we're only going to pay $450. In Shamokin, the housing authority says, unfortunately, you're not available for the program because the house costs more than what you're asked, what we're willing to or able to give on that. In other communities, if they're like in Lancaster, if they're approved for housing and their vouchers for $1,000 a month and they find a rental that's $1,300 a month, they're allowed to pay the additional $300 above and beyond what the voucher's for to rent that property. Shamokin, the housing authority in Shamokin will not allow that to happen. Thank you.
Where do you get that information from?
Calling. Oh, you mean the yearly numbers?
That they won't allow someone to pay that difference?
Because I've gone through it multiple times as a property manager here in Shamokin, begging them and pleading them that we were $25 difference. I've gone back to prime example, just had one about 2 weeks ago where the rental was $675. Housing authority said they'd only pay $550, and therefore the tenant couldn't do it. I called the owner. I got the owner on the phone and said, hey, look, housing authority is much lower up here than what you're used to in other areas. They're willing to pay $550 for it. You want $675. Can we come down some and see if we can get the housing authority to match up? He says, Jesse, do whatever we need to go, but I can't go below $575 a month. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for me to rent it. Called the housing authority back. Said, look, the owner's willing to come down $100 a month down to $575. And they said, unfortunately, our number's $550 for what the allotment is for that house. So therefore, we can't do it. The misconception of a lot of the tenants in Shamokin that use housing is that the voucher's for $750, but they portion that out. So much of that $750 is towards their electric bill, is towards their water bill, is towards their gas bill, is towards all of the other utilities that go in. So there's a specific allotment then out of that $750 that they give for a home based on whether it has oil heat or whether it has gas heat, or how much the rent can be. So there is a calculation for it. It's all derived by what the max number the state has set that they've requested for by the state, because they fill out forms every year requesting an increase or a stable number or whatever. And then what the state does is they actually go out and they canvass the average rentals in the area. And if that percentage meets their percentage, then they approve the housing authority's number.
It's all, end of the day, it's all based off the state average.
The state's average, yes. Now, the housing authority can appeal that and show additional rental units, which, because a lot of our local renters here do not put their house in the MLS multi-listing service with the realtor for rent. A lot of our local landlords do it by word of mouth and a sign on the front of their house. So there is no way for the state to look at those numbers. They can only look at numbers that are physically published and out there available. So that would be stuff that realtors or a homeowner does in the newspaper or something like that.
Thank you.
Yep.
The minutes for the last two meetings of December are not available. They'll be available after the February meeting.
Do we have any bills, Mr. State?
Yes, attached is a bill list, and therefore I need a motion to.
Okay, motion to approve the bills from December 2021 is listed on the bill list.
So,
Second.
On the question?
Roll call. Mr. Lashinsky,
Yes.
Mr. Roten,
yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
Mayor Ulrich,
Yes.
motion carries.
Moving into director's reports, accounts and finances.
Alright. I have the treasurer's report for the month of December 2021. General fund balance, $508,963.60. Liquid fuels balance, $140,214.21. Total library balance, $29,028.65. Total capital projects balance, $120,542.51. Total sinking fund number 1 debt service balance, $135,029.14. Total sinking fund number 2 recreation balance, $12,762.95. Total street lighting balance, $2.25. For a total balance in all accounts, $946,543.31. Submitted by Brenda Scandal, the city treasurer.
Thank you. Do you have anything else?
I do not at this time.
All right, thank you. Parks and public buildings?
Yes, Mayor and Council. I had a call from Kevin Richardson, who wanted to bring to my attention the fact that the 99 steps are closed. I don't know, many of you may go by there, and it's unfortunate that we no sooner have them open and we get hit with snow and ice. Evidently, Kevin has gone to all of the meetings where the 99 steps proposal came about. The committee, some of you may be on that committee, I don't know, are very aware that when weather came, that this was a possibility. So he said, not only for the safety of our citizens or whoever, might use them, but also because throwing ice melt and whatever on there would really corrupt and ruin the steps. So we certainly don't want to do that. And he wanted to call that to our attention in case we have any questions about that. I also reached out to Larry Strasser, and I would like to meet with him, and then plan on meeting with him either later this week or sometime next week, just to get my head back in the game a little bit as far as this department is concerned. And Larry is more than willing to do that. And Mike Duganitz and I spoke briefly about letting the Christmas decorations on Market Street and Lincoln Street up for a little while yet, again, because of weather-related issues, and volunteers handle the removal of those decorations, and so I have no problem with that. And that's really all I have right now, Mayor.
Thank you. Streets and public improvements.
Thank you, Mayor. Being new, it's first week here. So,
It was,
um,
had to happen.
yeah. So, I got, the chance last week, Thursday, to meet with Kevin over at the warehouse. Got to familiarize myself with some of their process and how they go about things, and it's, something new that I'm, excited to learn about. As far as, the department for this past weekend, I know Friday morning, our department, the street department was out after 4:00 in the morning on Friday, trying to take care of the roads, and then Sunday they were out about 5:30 in the morning, in preparation for the cleanup, with the weather over the weekend. So I want to thank Kevin and the guys there, for making sure that the roads were clear and taken care of in a timely manner. We have some weather coming up maybe this weekend, and we expect the same. There's a good group of guys there, and I'm excited to work with them moving forward for the next 4 years. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Department of Public Safety.
The code office, total revenues collected for the month of December were $5,602. Complaints addressed 63, with 6 open, 57 closed. 4 code tickets issued, 9 notice of violations sent, 3 citations written, 8 landlord inspections, and 4 posted unfit for habitation. Also, end of year letters were prepared and sent out for parking. All that is taken care of. Under the fire reports, for the month of December, there were 6 fire alarms, 5 service calls, 5 good intent calls, 4 fire calls, 3 rescue and emergency services calls, 2 hazardous condition calls. Total calls for December were 25, total personnel were 68, for total man-hour were 50.11. For the year of 2021, rescue emergency services were 89, fires were 75, fire alarms were 69, service calls were 40, hazardous conditions 30, weather incidents 4, special incidents 2. Total calls for 2021 were 378 calls. Total personnel were 103. Total man hours were 529.08. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Chief Psycho, would you mind giving a report on the police department?
Yes, sir. For the month of December, 7 juvenile petitions were filed, 13 criminal arrests, 21 traffic citations, 4 non-traffic citations, 39 parking citations, 1 written warning, 10 parking tickets, 708 dispatch calls, 3,429 patrol miles, and 50 code tickets. For the year-end report, 17 juvenile petitions, 297 criminal arrests, 336 traffic citations, 71 non-traffic citations, 278 parking citations, 106 written warnings, 1,710 parking tickets, 9,704.
Betsy, Linda, or Aaron, do you have anything?
I'll start. Hello, Mayor, Council. So the good news is everything that we applied for the last couple of years we've received. Bad news is all came through within the last couple months. Yeah, so quite a few $1 million have come through. Also, I wanted to let you know that the Go Shamokin plan was recognized by 10,000 Friends of Pennsylvania for the Commonwealth Award. So it actually won for 2021 Plan and Policy Initiative Award, which is very exciting. Way to go, Shamokin. Go Shamokin. Also, as a reminder to the public, if you are going to be investing in the city of Shamokin, either as a new build or commercial or residential, and you want to spend about $50,000 or more, you might qualify for ALERTA. So Shamokin was the first in Northumberland County to adopt LERTA. It's a local economic revitalization tax assistance program. So it creates a gradual increase of your taxes. Because what happens right now is if you put in $50,000 or more into your property, bumps up how much your taxes are. So this is just, you still have to pay the bulk, your bulk rate of your taxes, but it's the additional. The H&H study, that's your hydraulic study, is moving along. It should be done within the next couple of months. And it's going very well. That's all I can share with that right now. Your comprehensive plan zoning book rewrite, we were able to get $50,000 from DCD through their EDCDI program. And we've got 3 proposals in from that. And after closely evaluating them, we had a group that went through those, and we came up with Gannett Fleming. You, as a council, approved them last month, and they should be starting anytime now. The way that we're working on that is H&H is undergoing now. That'll be done within the next month or so, and then the comprehensive plan starts with Gannett Fleming. That's going to take about a year, and then you have about another year for your zoning book rewrite. In the meantime, from now till we get the zoning book rewrite, though, we're asking them to take a very close look at your current zoning book, which is from 1964. That's the most up-to-date, and make sure that it's legal. So that's what's happening right now with that. Your EPA community-wide Brownfield assessment grant. It's called a QEP, but it's Qualified Environmental Professionals, an engineer, and we ended up getting 7 proposals in for that job. We chose Stromberg Garrigan Associates for that job, and that starts now. So we're working on that right now. Illumination Station Pocket Park. Several of you were on a call earlier today. We're moving right along with that, even though the buildings are there. I assure you things are happening. There will be a public meeting open to anybody. That will be probably the next month. So I'll keep you all apprised of that date. Lastly, I just want to share about your home program. As of right now, there's been 5 intakes, 2 fully completed and 3 are underway. And what the intake is your income verification, making sure that they're financially able to do this. So that's moving ahead, and I think those are my big things. Any questions?
Thank you for everything you're doing.
My pleasure.
We appreciate it greatly.
Anyone else from the city talk?
Yes, thank you. I just want to give stand up here. I want to give a brief update on CDBG for the city of Shamokin. We did get the award letter for your 2021 grant application, saying that the grant has been awarded as requested. That just came through today, so that's good news. And I want to give a brief report on the 118-122 demolition. We are having a meeting tomorrow that I think is very good with the neighbor and the contractor and people who are involved in that demolition. It's tight right up next to neighbors, and we're going to need to keep open lines of communication and be extremely careful. And the contractor is aware of that, and this meeting is going to help to make sure that everyone understands the work that's going to be done and the expectations of the neighbors. And rumor has it that if he didn't do it today, Mr. Knoppel from Affordable will be stopping by the city tomorrow to get your signature, Mr. Slavy, so that
They were delivered this afternoon and dropped off, and they departed before they could get to me and get me signed.
Oh.
They're on my desk.
Okay, that's good to know. And just a quick, so the permitting was taken care of too? Or should I follow up on that?
That I don't know that.
Rob's been pretty good about that. Has he been in touch with you at all, Scott, or no?
Not a word.
Okay, want me to follow up on that just to make sure?
What permitting are you looking for? A demo permit?
Mhm.
That would be through third-party inspector. That'd be at Fayetteville.
It can be submitted through code
There's nothing to do with us.
Okay, so you wouldn't know.
No, that would be at Fayetteville.
Okay, I'll check.
You want to check?
But usually I believe he drops them here. Does he?
I'll just, yeah, I can just double check with them. I know it was an issue
So he
before,
didn't get
so.
it yet. Okay.
I'm sorry, what was that?
He didn't get it yet.
Ed did not get that permit yet?
No.
No, Mr. Knopfler hasn't done it yet.
Oh, okay. We'll talk to him tomorrow and Aaron and I are both ready to know. Any questions on that?
No, I don't, thank you.
Thanks.
No,
Aaron, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just got one, just as for ARPA, separate from CDBG, if you're done with it.
I'm done, thanks.
Just one quick thing, so the last week, the Treasury released the final rule for ARPA. And I believe it's gonna be a lot easier to spend money with this interpretation of the final rule, so.
In 2022,
No, this is for your ARPA money, your ARPA allocation.
The funding that we had already used some of it?
Yeah, that you, some of it already, but you still have another tranche coming this year,
correct.
the second half.
And there's a balance from 2021
Yes.
out there too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, this-
I've seen
this
that-
final
I've seen
rule-
that this morning.
The final rule will doesn't come into effect until April 1st, but they released it so people can start learning it. And then on April 1st, the new rules go into effect and we'll be able to start from there, so. We'll have another conversation about
Much
that.
better, much better.
Any highlights from the new regulations compared to what was originally out there?
The biggest highlight is concerning revenue loss. The interim final rule had a revenue loss calculation, which the final rule also allows for, but the final rule is also allowing for a sum, just to use a blank sum, up to $10 million. So the city's gonna be able to claim all of their allocation as revenue loss, which means they can do a lot more different types of projects with it than was previously allowed. That's probably the biggest takeaway, but we should probably have an
It's much
information.
better.
It's much better, it's getting much easier to spend the money,
With some other people this morning, it's much better
yes.
for municipalities.
And we'll have an information session on that at some point. But that's everything.
Will they still be audited?
Yes, all the reporting requirements still count, it's just how they can spend the money and classify that money now is different.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yep, thank you.
Well, we'll move into new business. Just a quick note here, in February at the meeting, we're gonna start doing the sign-in sheet. That way it'll help us keep track of everyone, and so we'll be starting that in February's meeting. At this time, I request a motion to appoint the city administrator, Robert Slavy, to be the certifying officer for the environmental review.
So.
Oh, yeah. All right. Okay.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Request a motion to open a new bank account at M&T Bank for the grant funds from DCED, EDCDI.
So moved.
Second.
Anything on the question? Slavy?
Okay. Mr. Lashinsky,
Yes.
Mr. Roughton,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
Mayor Ulrich.
Yes.
The motion carries. Unanimous. Next.
Request a motion to ratify Nathan Rhodes' pension with a request to start his benefits as of February 1st, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
On the question?
I want to thank Nate Rhodes for his service to our community.
Mr. Lashinsky,
Yes.
Mr. Roughton,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
and Mayor Ulrich.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimous.
Is there any unfinished business?
No, sir. Not at this time unless the member has, but they had an opportunity at the workshop to discuss it. Therefore, I suggest you move on to boards and committees.
All right. Boards and committees, request a motion to accept the resignation of Eric Seidel from the planning committee effective 12/31/2021.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Any questions? Mr. Solicitor, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
We have 4 yeas, 1 abstention.
Request a motion to reappoint William Dobson to the Housing Authority for a 5-year term.
So moved.
Second.
On the question?
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
4 yeas, 1 abstention.
Request a motion to reappoint Charles Sosnowski to the Shamokin Cool Township Joint Sewer Authority for a 5-year term.
So moved, Mayor.
I'll second that.
On the question?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous.
Request a motion to reappoint Eugene Garancheski to the zoning board whose term expired January 1st, 2022 for a 5-year term.
So moved.
I'll second that.
On the question?
John?
Yeah.
Who seconded it?
Mrs. Moyer.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous.
Request a motion to remove Jerry Splain from the zoning board due to moving outside of the city limits.
So moved.
Second.
On the question?
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous.
Solicitor, Attorney Gregory.
Yes, I reached out to Attorney Frank Kanopka to see if there was any matters that were pending that he had to pass along to me. Indicated that there were none that he was aware of. There was one pending action involving the code office, which I got involved in working on that. I also got a copy of the working document for the zoning code changes. I need the entire code book to go along with that, so I hope to get that.
I will talk with everyone when this meeting's over to help you out with that.
Okay,
Then we'll be Fridays.
Okay.
I have nothing for you.
Citizens' comments.
Again, Jesse with Brokers Realty here in the Shamokin Coal Township area. Everybody voted tonight for the same people that were already on boards and committees. So the assumption is nobody's really looking to make change or move things forwards in a different direction at this point in time. I would hope that this council will at least get with the housing authority. Housing authority is required by their funding to spend a portion of that to promote homeownership and coaching and money management classes for the public. I haven't, in the past 4 or 5 years, I haven't seen any offerings of those classes for the public. What I would like to introduce and promote and hope that the city will help promote this would be, there's a program by the USDA. It's not the MEAT, it's the Rural Housing Redevelopment Authority for communities like this where for people looking to buy a home with lower income can get 105% financing to buy the home. The way to make change in Shamokin isn't by legislating and creating laws. It's about making change with the people. and having home ownership and pride in home ownership. So I would hope that these programs are pushed by the city for redevelopment of the homeowners. Secondly, the USDA program also is an extension of what we're already doing with the grant programs. Individuals who are of retirement age are able to get up to $10,000 grants by the USDA. There is no maximum of how much can be put out. They qualify based on their income and their age. So retirees have the ability to get funding to help repair their homes, put new roofs on their homes. And those who are looking to buy homes through the program, there is no age limit. It's a financial cap. But in Shamokin, they're qualified financially if they make less than $83,000 a year. They can borrow up to 40 years on the loan, and depending on what their income level is, as low as 1% interest on their mortgage. So there are some really great programs out by the USDA that I would ask the council to help push and promote, and have the Housing Authority to promote and push to help redevelop Shamokin for the people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jesse, just want to let you know, I plan on attending Housing Authority meetings too, since we appoint and oversee that board. I will be in attendance for those meetings with the Housing Authority. And I just want to say, as far as the boards and committees, this is just to everybody out there. It's that time of year where, you know, there are turnover with the boards and committees, people's terms run out throughout the year. If there's anybody out there, I would say, who's interested in getting involved with things here, with this administration, these boards and committees, stop in at City Hall, ask somebody, you know, what's up, what's coming up, what's available. Maybe there's something there that someone out there in the public would like to be interested in, join in to help out and bring new ideas maybe to the table. It's very difficult to get sometimes people to want to get involved in things like this, but there's been an interest from a lot of people in the community, new people in the community, to get involved. It would be great to stop in City Hall, ask questions, and possibly maybe, Bob, there could be, if somebody has, you know, what appointments are up or something coming up, you know, applying for an interest in something with a board and committee, maybe they could drop something off at City Hall or.
Yeah, you know, I'm always interested in taking applications, even for employment. You know, I haven't filled a couple of spots because of the lack of applications. It's not easy to get people to work.
Mike again from Shamokin, also president of SYBL Basketball. And I would just like to say thank you to Mr. Slavy and City Council for the work that's being done over at the Legion. It's beautiful. The bathrooms are beautiful. Last year, we did not have basketball. This year, Shamokin has 27 teams are using that gym this year. 27 teams, besides 6 teams from Southern that we play. So 33 different teams use that building Sunday through Saturday, every day. And boy, it is such a relief not knowing that we're not going to have leaks going down into the library anymore, or that the ceiling is about to fall on our floor, on our basketball court. We spend a lot of money to put that floor in. Every year we maintain it. And I just want to commend you guys. It's looking beautiful. This is our 45th year up there, 45th season as SYBL, 35th year, I believe, at the Legion itself. So, but I just want to thank you. And thank you, Bob, for being in contact with me straight through with this, getting it done.
You're welcome. I mentioned it at the workshop last week. I did have a walk through the other day with the main contractor. You and I together to clean the place up. I would like to bring council down and the mayor in the coming weeks so that they can see what has been done down there. And we're not done yet down there.
Any other comments? I'll make the motion for an adjournment.
Oh, sorry. Jeff, you okay?
No, you know.
Okay.
Oh.
So moved.
Second.
Other question? Nothing. This meeting is adjourned.
Go dogs.
Go dogs.